Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course, the best of all, those massive cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Hell, even those Prime Angus and Wagyu burgers, most likely are going to be the best you ever had. Certainly the best I've ever had. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com on your mobile device or on your computer, or give them a call. Find out what's for dinner. 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935 for UppercutChops.com. All right, a big welcome in to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast, as well as Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, WOW, and Time Warner cable affiliates in different markets, as well as hotel television in over 200 Nielsen-rated markets, as well as everybody on Instagram, Facebook, and AMP TV, AAMP.TV. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. All right, how do we all think about the sporting world? We say, these guys and women are great athletes, and, certainly they must be eating very specific diets. Well, frankly, everybody should be eating a little bit better. Hell, I'm even eating just a little bit better, if you know what I mean. But anyway, how about this? How about nutrition as being a number one topic for most people, as it ought to be? But apparently, not for some would-be, or whatnot, government officials. Oh boy. Just when you thought they couldn't possibly do anything else to screw everything else up, well, here we have, the FDA's kind of been under fire since the non-FDA approved and experimental drug injections, I guess have been put into people, millions of people right here in this country and around the world, needless to say, but the FDA only counts here. But apparently those companies that make those alleged shots, yeah, whatever. So they've come under fire for a bunch of reasons, and needless to say, the FDA has their issues. Food and Drug Administration has done the unthinkable. Yes, are you ready for this one? Are you sitting down? You better lie down. Because the FDA has cleared lab-grown meat for human consumption. Can't make this stuff up, folks. This is ridiculous. This is the worst possible scenario. The worst. So, of course, every major outlet, of course, has this one right on the top of their list. So this one's to all media outlets reporting this, but you're not going to get this kind of spin on it. The reality is, for the first time, the Food and Drug Administration just announced that they have cleared lab-grown meat created from cultured animals, yes, cultured animals, for human consumption. What the hell are they thinking? Now, of course, the FDA green-lighted this, and this applies only to chicken products made by, are you ready for this? By Upside Foods. Why only Upside Foods? They're a California-based company founded 7 years ago. Though it's announced, the FDA said it's ready to work with other firms that are developing cultured animal cell foods too. I wonder if the name Bill Gates comes into this somewhere. I'm not really sure. Oh, that's right. If I'm not mistaken, now I could be wrong, it seems to me that Bill Gates recently went out into the media and endorsed and said something to the effect, I'm not sure. Again, this is my opinion, so you can't hold it against me. The reality is, I believe he was in the media somewhere talking about how everybody should be eating synthetic beef products. Really? I believe that's going on in Europe right now. They're really pushing that agenda, as we hear from our listening audience over in Europe. How ridiculous, how ridiculous is that in the first place? To imagine a synthetic beef product to be put in our organic bodies, where, let's face it, when an artery closes, Here's what happens when somebody eats processed dairy products. For example, processed cheese, right? People say, well, that cheese tastes a little bit funny. It tastes like plastic. Well, look, like the same thing with margarine. We're just using these as an example. So the body can process naturally occurring substances, right? And of course, these superstar athletes, and just like the average person, the average Joe or Jane, they need regular food too. They don't need fake food, processed food. What kind of crap is that? But what happens is with these arteries, so if you eat all these processed foods, so your artery, everybody watching on TV or on Instagram or Facebook and AMP TV, whatever, if you're watching this, you'll see that I'm starting kind of with an open circle, right? So there's an open circle, which would be, in this case, the artery. Well, what happens is the more you take in these partially hydrogenated foods, and by the way, what that means is hydrogen atoms are actually being, added to that food substance to thicken it. For example, butter comes in a liquid form, but we as Americans, what do we like? We like to take our butter, cut it, we like to spread it on our bread and stuff like that, right? Okay, so they add hydrogen atoms to that to thicken it. Therefore, it's partially hydrogenated. The problem is the body doesn't know just what to do with those hydrogenated substances, right? So you hydrogenate something, and the problem is these items actually end up building up on your artery walls, right? There's a problem there because they could build up, because your body doesn't know what to do with them. They build up, and eventually that circle becomes now a solid tube or a blood clot. So imagine putting synthetic products, synthetic foods in your body on top of it. That's what the FDA apparently had cleared. What kind of crap is that? And these other firms that develop cultured animal food cells. How ridiculous is this? And of course, the agency said that it had evaluated information submitted by Upside Foods, of course, who got the approval, as part of a pre-market consultation. Yeah. And that it had to, quote, no further questions at this time about the firm's safety conclusion. Close quote. How do you not have safety issues with synthetic food? Right. So they say, of course, the company began selling its products after inspected and label approval by the Department of Agriculture. There's another one. Can you say wash your hands, people? Upside makes cell-cultivated meats using biopsies from living animals as well as, quote, recently slaughtered animals who were already part of the food system, close quote. It just keeps getting worse. And of course, it expects these cells to be capable of indefinitely self-renewing with the goal of eventually phasing out all animal components. What? What the hell are they talking about? So now an Upside spokesperson said in an emailed statement to Yahoo News that the company is thrilled by the FDA's historic announcement.
Show me the money!
Right. And the spokesman said, quote, cultivated meat has never been closer to the U.S. market than it is today, close quote. There's nothing good about fake or synthetic foods like this. Sorry, folks, there's nothing good about it. Nothing. In fact, the spokesperson also added that in addition to eliminating, quote, the need to raise and slaughter billions of animals, close quote, cultivated meat is projected to use substantially less water and land than farmed meat, and producing meat in a controlled environment may reduce the risk of harmful bacteria contaminants. No, it won't. Have you seen those chicken ranches, how they raise those chickens? Oh, yes, and by the way, this is approved for chicken products by Upside and other firms, if you know what I mean. And of course, liberal spin of the United Nations and globalists say that meat and dairy alone are responsible for 60% of agriculture's greenhouse gas emissions. Really? Yeah, how about their clean burning energy that requires what? Fossil fuels to make it happen in the first place. Unbelievable. But of course, while proponents of cultivated meats point to environmental benefits by cutting greenhouse gas emissions, some experts are still debating whether large-scale culture meat industries may exacerbate climate change by contributing to carbon pollution. Honestly, this is a giant, hot, steaming pile of BS in so many ways, in my opinion. Let me tell you something, folks. Think about this. Certain hospitals do what? They give patients synthetic blood. Yes, that's out there. You don't believe it? It's a thing. Go ahead and Google it. Synthetic blood causes, in my opinion, all kinds of unbelievably bad events with the human body. So let's just take that synthetic food and add it to a person that's had what? Maybe some synthetic blood. And maybe they have been what? I don't know, computer-generated images. Maybe they're CGI people. Maybe they're clones. Maybe who the hell knows what they are. But this world is going to hell in a handbasket, and these globalists and UN people that are supposed to be looking out for the greater good are doing nothing but bleeping us in the you-know-what. Back here in a few minutes on The Circus. Lots more to come, folks. You don't want to miss this.
The sports world. It's a circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas.
Score, put the ball down, give it to the referee. And I don't even care if you slam it down, but you don't have to dance. You don't have to call your mom on the phone. You don't have to go
The Sports Circus is a 1-hour primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC News, and CNBC radio affiliates, plus Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, WOW cable TV affiliates across North America and nationwide in upscale hotels and resorts on hotel television in all 210 Nielsen-rated markets.
Just like a circus.
My life is just a party, and parties weren't meant to last. Dickerson.
Jason Zarbler from Five Finger Death Punch.
Sidney Justin from The Miracles.
My name is Curtis Blow. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. I'm here on the Sports Circus.
The Sports Circus brings top sports and entertainment content and is delivered fully produced and is easy pass-through traffic for radio stations. Simply drop the program in your traffic manager. The full 59-minute, 50-second file will coordinate with the clock. Your local station receives up to 4 minutes of local avails during the Sports Circus broadcast, and it's a great lead to live sports and entertainment.
Well, if you're going to talk about our congressman being crooked, why not talk about commercial products who don't do what they represent to do?
Yes!
Big Billy here. He certainly knows something about making things difficult on the competition.
He's a punisher. Yeah, he just break the ribs.
Yeah,
I still haven't broke someone's collarbone yet in a boxing match.
That's a great statement. I have not broke someone's collarbone in the ring yet.
I've never heard that before.
I can't
Is there a reason you said in the ring?
I can't wait.
Is it that you've broken collarbones just outside of the ring? You did catch that, right? He said in the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
So he got him on the curtain. He got him on the edge of the ring and broke his collarbone.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
I had to get Sal's name right.
Well, Sal the floor sweeper. That's his new name.
Sal the bookkeeper. Hey,
Yeah, but even my name, even my last name.
Add that one to the bank,
But no, Alicia, you even got my last name wrong. That's why I said my
I know it
colon
starts
was
with a
bleeding.
V. It starts with a V.
He said a V. Really? Quick, where's the punch sound? 400 punches.
Here's the punch sound.
Right, exactly. Look, he almost knocked out the microphone.
Alicia, that's why they have cue cards, right? So don't let the name bother you. Just bring a cue card with you next
But
time.
people can't read my name off a cue card.
Well, change your name to Joe Smith or something. Jeez, make it easy.
This is Sal Tuzzolino, host and ringmaster of the Sports Circus. Why listen to the same old dog and pony show that you've heard all day long? The Sports Circus covers everything that other shows don't or are too scared to cover. There's no primetime show like it on air that'll punch you in the mouth and you'll beg for more. Also, you can call in and participate with our Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning. Maybe you caught a home run ball and someone's trying to give it back to the person you caught it from. And it's worth millions of dollars. Maybe you need a little bit of legal input. Maybe you don't. Maybe you need some information. Contact Legal Shield. They possibly can help you. 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Again, 213-245-1305. Or check them out at nocourt.us. That's www.nocourt.us. You can also email them at info@nocourt.us. All right, and big welcome back to everybody in television land and also on the radio. You could be listening in over on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA over in Honolulu. Thanks for joining us. That's home of the San Francisco 49ers, New York Yankees, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Welcome in to everybody that may be listening in with our friends over in California on NBC News and CNBC Financial, right here in Las Vegas, KQQY, Las Vegas Public Radio. Also, WDJY over in Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks for joining us. Also in Auburn, Alabama, home of the 2021 World Champion Atlanta Braves, as well as our friends over in Lubbock, Texas, that may be picking up our content on KTXT Raider Radio from Texas Tech University, 88.1 FM, plus all of our other affiliates, plus Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, WOW, and Time Warner Cable affiliates, as well as Hotel TV, plus Instagram, Facebook, and AMP TV. Thanks for everybody joining us. In the next segment, we'll get to that. But on this segment, guess what? It is the home run ball. The home run ball. It's the only one that anyone even talks about. It's the only one that anyone should be talking about right now. And think about this. You know, the guy who caught that Aaron Judge 60-second home run ball. And obviously, a lot of people have said, hey, do this, hey, do that, whatever. He decided that this guy, his name's Corey Yeomans, Corey's going to use an auction service after turning down $3
Show me the money!
million for that ball. In fact, you may remember, in October, this guy caught that home run ball, that record-setting ball from Aaron Judge over in Arlington, home of the Texas Rangers. And, of course, now this guy, a Dallas 35-year-old guy, a budding superstar in his own world, is either teaching a masterclass in knowing when to hold them and when to fold them, or spinning a cautionary tale for the ages. And, look, it's likely that, well, I don't know, I would say the former, probably. So his attorney, to be nameless, we don't care about the attorney's name, told the four-letter network, and you know who they are, that they have already declined a $3 million offer for the baseball. So it'll go to auction in a couple of weeks. And of course, through some New Jersey-based collectible marketplace mecca. Good for them. Again, we're not going to plug them because they're not giving us any money, if you know what I mean. But the most expensive baseball ever auctioned was Mark McGwire's then record 70th home run in 1998. You know, the one where they were cheating and they were doing performance-enhancing drugs, whatever, hitting home runs left, right, and center. He and Sosa, and, of course, some other guys. Oh, then another guy by the name of Barry Bonds. And I think everybody knows what I'm talking about there. So anyway, so the McGwire ball sold for $3.05 million to comic book artist Todd McFarlane. And, of course, adjusted for inflation, are reportedly worth less now. The ball's selling price will likely be, the Aaron Judge one, substantially higher than that one. And, of course, regardless of the outcome, the guy who caught the ball, Mr. Yeomans' story is one of those right out of a movie anyway. After making the improbable catch, he was seen to receive cheers from fans and then escorted out of the stadium by security. And, of course, after he declined offers to meet Aaron Judge and receive other token stuff in exchange for the ball, someone released his address on social media. You know, you can't get away from it, folks. And, of course, that's what he said to the four-letter network. And, of course, he also said he waited at the stadium to have the ball authenticated and then stayed with a friend for a few nights. Well, obviously, somebody can go to his house and probably try to steal that ball from him. Anyway, Aaron Judge told reporters that night that he hit that record-setting homer that, of course, he expected to win the most valuable player at the time And yes, he ended up winning it, but he also said, quote, "It'd be great to get it back, but that's a souvenir for the fan. They made a great catch out there, and they've got every right to it," close quote. Well, buddy, what else are you going to say? And, Aaron's a good guy. The media likes him. A lot of people like him. I don't know anybody that doesn't like Aaron Judge, unless, of course, maybe you're playing baseball in Boston or you're a Boston Red Sox fan. Of course, they would love to have Aaron on their team. But ultimately, Aaron seems to be a really good guy for the media. And I think the fans of all teams really like this guy. He's a very likable kid. I can say kid because he's a lot younger than me, too. Anyway, so the guy who caught the ball told the Four Letter Network that he came to the decision to auction the ball, quote, "after weeks of a lot of deep conversation," close quote, with his wife, who just happens to be a sports reporter and former contestant on the ABC show The Bachelor. It always seems like the rich get richer. It seems that way. Whatever that's supposed to mean. How does it apply to this? Who the hell knows? The fact is, those who have... It's the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? I think a lot of people can understand that one. So anyway, this guy says he hopes that Aaron Judge, the Yankees, or the National Baseball Hall of Fame purchase the ball through the auction, which he feels is the most diplomatic path. Really? And of course, the most profitable for him, too. And he even goes on to say, quote, "It seems fair in the sense it gives anyone that's interested and has the means, the opportunity to own it. And as a fan, I'm curious to see what it's worth, really. Who buys it and what they do with it," close quote. Come on, man. He caught it. Look, here's my opinion. He caught it. It's his ball. Let him do whatever the hell he wants with it. Don't judge. But yes, he says, let anybody have it who can afford it, whatever. And that's all fine and dandy because that's the invisible hand. We'll go back to our basic economics class, right? It's what will the market bear for it? I mean, the price is, maybe the price will be $10 million. Maybe the price will be $10. Well, it won't be 10 because I'd buy it then. But the reality is, this guy did catch the ball. He has a right to do whatever he wants with it. And a lot of people in the New York media, a lot of people, well, that were New York Yankees fans, a lot of people in general have nothing better to do with their time other than to do what? To poke their nose into somebody else's business. And that in itself is troublesome. The bigger problem lies when they try to convince him, and then they put public pressure on him. And then what happens? The media gets involved. Why does the media get involved? It's a great story, but what can the media do? The media can sell advertising around this story. This story or this segment brought to you in part by a can of your favorite soda or something like that, or your favorite adult beverage, or your favorite vape product, whatever the hell it is, your favorite widget. It doesn't matter. The reality is the media gets involved because there's money involved every damn time. They're not doing it out of the responsibility of responsible reporting. They don't even do that seemingly anymore. I mean, find your local outlet, your local media outlet. Who really reports responsibly? I can tell you right now, as a member of the media, that a lot of the fake news that's out there, it's called fake news for a very good reason. I don't give a damn what side of the fence you're on. Fake news is fake news. But why should the media pressure or amplify something to where the point where somebody is going to feel pressured to do something? Case in point, as wrong as it may be, as wrong as Dan Snyder may be with the Washington Commanders, right? Maybe if the media didn't get involved and hype the name change idea, maybe the Redskins would still be the Redskins. Maybe the Cleveland Indians would still be the Cleveland Indians rather than the Guardians. Because there are teams with Indian-driven names that have not changed their names. They have not changed their logos. They haven't changed a damn thing. But the media gets involved to do what? They get involved just so they can do what? Just so they can make money ultimately, because they don't give a damn about you and me. All they care about is lining their own pockets. All the fake news outlets, that's all they did to Donald J. Trump. All they did was they tried to throw him into the fire, and everybody said, oh, conspiracy. Hey, fine, say what you want. But guess what? All that stuff, it's amazing how months later, maybe a year later, everything seems to be coming true. Right? Same thing with these shots, right? That people are talking about. All these damn globalists and all their agenda and all this blue team media crap. I mean, look, the reality is every time somebody screams conspiracy, it sure seems that they're crying wolf for the wrong reason. And it seems like they're wrong. And it seems like every time they try to shut somebody up for speaking what appears to be the truth, when there seems to be compelling evidence for the truth, it seems to me that what do? All they do is they try to cover it up with more crap. Just like when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. exposed Tony Fauci with over 2,200 citations in his book, The Real Anthony Fauci. He's a lawyer. He can't libel anybody. Are you kidding me? That guy's going to open himself up to a big mess. So everything is cited. And guess what? That is a clean book and it says a lot of good stuff. And now what's Tony Fauci doing now? Where's Tony Fauci? The highest paid employee of the U.S. government. What the hell's this clown doing? Guess what? The media leaves him alone. Why don't they leave this guy with the Aaron Judge ball alone? Back here in a few minutes on The Circus. Don't go anywhere.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Zwoele zomerhits.
Klopvaste actua.
De leukste cadeaus. Donna.
The sound of summer.
Today's best music. C100.
XW Trenton Kicks 101.5. The music you love to hear.
WJBQ. WRFM Stereo 105.
You're listening to 97 WYNY. WYNY.
C100. WAYB FM 95 Atlantic City.
Why isn't this an awkward moment?
Show me the money!
Hey everybody, this is Barry Katz from the Industry Standard Podcast, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. This segment brought to you in part by your friends over at Cali Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk shows. Cali Vegas can help with everything they need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job, and host their very own talk show in their very own home studio. For more information, contact Cali Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119. Or check them out online at calivegas.com. That's www.calivegas.com. Yes! All right, and a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Of course, Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, and WOW Cable Television affiliates. All those viewers there, as well as Hotel TV in every Nielsen-rated market across America, gaining 4 million impressions per hour right here on the Sports Circus. Welcome in everybody also on Instagram, Facebook, and AMP TV, AAMP.TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. You know, our Instagram has absolutely been blowing up. 10, 15,000 views at a time. It's absolutely maddening to imagine. You never know, folks. Maybe that blue check will be coming at some point soon, if you know what I mean. All right. So back to the National Football League. How about the Bills and Browns? You know, the Bills and Browns, is it a big deal? It is a big deal because the game was actually what? Moved to Detroit ahead of a massive snowstorm coming to Orchard Park, New York. Can't make this stuff up, folks. This is ridiculous. So a snowflake's decision to move the game. What an abomination. Kind of like the abominable snowman. Nonetheless, no snow game in Buffalo after the NFL officially moved the Buffalo Bills home game against the Cleveland Browns in Week 11 to Ford Field in Detroit. So, of course, my good friend Terrell Poor, Terrell, who's watching the show right now on Facebook. Of course, TP, we go way back in the day. All right, so yes, over in Detroit, you can watch the game if you're there. And I'll tell you what, folks, to be able to watch a game under the unlikely conditions or being in the conditions of a blizzard is historic in the first place. Why wouldn't the natural progression of the game stay intact? Why would they have, I don't know, some snowflake committee saying, oh, no, it's too much snow out here, we can't play football? What kind of crap is that? Get your ass out there, go freeze a little bit, go make snow angels in between plays, whatever the hell, go have some fun. It's football, it's a kid's game, then they're playing for millions of dollars. Come on, man, have a little bit of fun with this. And of course the NFL says, quote, due to public safety concerns and out of an abundance of caution, in light of an ongoing weather emergency in Western New York, the Cleveland Browns-Buffalo Bills game will be moved to Ford Field in Detroit at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And the decision to move the game from Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, was done in consultation with the Buffalo Bills and local and state authorities as the region prepares for the storm. Close quote. Are you bleeping kidding me? What kind of nonsense is that? And of course, who cares? The storm could dump a record-setting amount of snow, 3-6 feet in one shot. I love that. But the seemingly snowflake blue team New York governor already issued a statement of emergency for the region this week. Shut up and play the damn game. Yes, the emergency was for snow. Really? For snow. I mean, even for school to be canceled. Where I grew up in suburban Chicago. I could say I'm from Chicago. I was actually born in the city. But in suburban Chicago, for us to be, to have to stay home from school, it would have to be, I remember it was 60 below with the wind chill. I mean, it was cold. And we didn't walk uphill back and forth to school. No, it was just butt cold, right? Cold I could get if it is 30 below zero without the wind. Now, there's a real problem there, right? Ice, you get little crystallizations on your eyelids and crap like that, on your eyelashes, whatever. There's a real problem there. The problem is with snow, there is no problem. Play the damn game in the first place. So in order to not inconvenience the blue team snowflakes, the snowflake fans, the game will be played at 1 p.m., of course, Eastern, as I said, at Ford Field in the dome in the closed environment rather than outdoor where God intended wintertime football to be played in the first place. Now, of course, Ford Field is open because the Lions are on a bye week, and coincidentally, Buffalo will be playing in Detroit for 2 consecutive games, and the Bills play the Lions at that same stadium on Thanksgiving the following Thursday. And of course, well, the Bills have played in some wild games anyway, snow games, that is. And some of those were some of the greatest in NFL history. But God forbid we have a little bit of snow on the ground, as if the snow machines won't move everything and people won't shovel. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the ownership actually has fans come in and they will shovel for them, and maybe they'll clean out the seats, the whole area, whatnot. Either they give them free tickets or free food or free something or another, whatever the hell it is. I think that's a great community thing, and that gets the fan base involved with the team on a professional level. So it makes the fans feel like they're actually a part of the team, which I really like that, and I applaud that. That's one hell of a thing that the Buffalo Bills do. So the Bills Mafia now somehow has to transfer all of their tickets over to Ford Field in Detroit. And what about the inconvenience for all the people that have paid in advance to see these games? Now they have to travel hundreds of miles to Detroit just to go watch their home team play? What kind of cock and bull is that? That's unbelievable. I mean, the fans that are really missing out, those season ticket holders, are the ones that are really getting burnt in this. So, I mean, look, back to these snowy games. So Buffalo actually played the Browns in Cleveland on a snowy mid-December day back 15 years ago and won an ugly 8-0 game. And of course, those two teams squared off in the snow again 2 years later. There's a common theme here, folks, where the Browns won 6-3. So why should this be a surprise? Why can't these two teams just play in the damn snow again? If it was good enough 15 years ago, if it was good enough 12 years ago, 11, 12, 13 years ago, why the hell wouldn't it be good today? Oh, that's right, because now we have a new brand of leader in our administration. And they say, oh, no, we can't play in anything that's going to be a harm or a risk or some crap like that. All these snowflake policies, that's a bunch of BS to make me vomit. Anyway, so the Bills also, by the way, they also won a 13-7 overtime game over the Colts 15 years ago on the legs of LaShawn McCoy. And of course, the game featured 8 to 9 inches of snow. So be it. But this is a bunch of BS. Big shout out to my buddy TP over there in Detroit. And he says, and of course, we've got a live feed going here on Facebook. He says, yes, he is, and we grew up together. I love him. He's like family. TP, you've always been family to me. You said some funny things that I cannot get out of my head all the way back in 7th grade. I just can't forget some of the things. He was one of the coolest guys I've ever known, and has Terrell Poor. Check him out. If you don't know who he is, check him out on Facebook or wherever he is. Terrell's a great guy. Anyway, back to this Bills thing. I even mentioned him because he is in Detroit. But the reality is that they've played these games in the NFL in the snow. So whether it was against this team or that team, and of course, even listen to this, that game 15 years ago, that was the Bills and the Colts. So it featured a lot of snow. It featured what? Thunder snow! Yes! Thunder snow. So if you've never experienced that, if you're not from an environment where you get crazy weather, right? It could be the Midwest, could be the East Coast, whatever. If you're from the southern part of the U.S. or from the West Coast, chances are you're not going to get a chance to experience thunder snow. It's actually kind of cool. So it's a thunderstorm with snow coming down at the same time. But look, quite possibly, the wildest snow game came 6 years ago between what? The Bills again and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and both teams found ways to score, and the Steelers won, of course, thanks to the defunct running back, Le'Veon Bell's 236 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. And where's he in today's game? Nowhere to be found. Because he wanted everyone to do what?
Show me the money!
Ain't no money going for you, buddy. You are sitting at home watching these games on TV. Or maybe you're in the wrestling ring, as I read once before. Nonetheless, again, we won't be seeing any of that snow kind of games like we saw with the Steelers and Bills, or with the Browns and the Bills, and with the Colts and the Bills. And of course not. Because why? Snowflakes are in control. And you can take that however you want it. But this is a man's game. Get out there and play the damn game and stop playing politics. Oh, somebody may get hurt. Yeah, what about back in the day, in the pre-collective bargaining days, when players were getting hurt left, right, and center? They were playing on natural grass, and they weren't playing on an artificial surface where your foot would get stuck in and you can't move it on the artificial surface today. And guess what? It's tweaking ligaments. And it's tweaking tendons. It's causing all kinds of trouble. Get rid of the artificial surface. Let them play in the elements. Let them play in the snow. Let them play the man's game like it's supposed to be the man's game. And stop trying to turn them into one of the 23 genders that you believe that they may have. Because God forbid they may go down to their local government office and change something that they were born with. You never know, folks. Anyway. We're going to be back here in a few minutes on the circus. Lots more controversy to come because that's what we do. We don't hold back. So get over yourselves. Back in a few minutes.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you...
Yeah? I don't want to hear Uncle Sam. So hopefully you guys are having fun. I have to take a look at some of the comments here by some of these people. And hey, Joey and Terrell, you guys should hook up. Lots of fun. Terrell is a great guy. Joey is a load of fun. Mercy, you guys will have a ball together. But anyway, I have to say that these games that we're watching, look, the Super Bowl should be played in a natural progression of the season. Not in the perfect environment. I have friends that have played in the Super Bowl. A good friend, Tyrone, has played in 2 of them, and he won 2 of them, right? Tyrone's like a little brother to me, and we talk about this. It's like, look, buddy, I want to see the Super Bowl played in a blizzard. I would love to see the Super Bowl played in a place like Buffalo, in the elements. Play it in Chicago. Play it in Green Bay. Play it in New England. I don't care. Play it in Kansas City. Play it somewhere. I just want to see the elements continue on in the season. That's what it should be. And like Terrell says, Brett Favre threw a lot of touchdowns in the snow. You damn right he did. Nice round of applause for that comment. Yes, folks, and this is carried on a bunch of network affiliates. Pick your favorite one, whether it's CBS, NBC, Fox, some of the 4-letter network. I hate to say ESPN. Different affiliates for different locations, from city to city, market to market. Same thing on television. Washington, D.C., I want to say it's Comcast. Where are we at in Atlanta? Atlanta may be Comcast. Tampa, I'm not really sure. I want to say that also is Comcast, but also Cox and other markets, even over in New Mexico. I want to say we're on Spectrum. I don't know. In Hawaii, Oceanic Time Warner Cable, and on we go. Crazy stuff, folks. All right, so we're coming back in about a minute. So hopefully you're having fun with this. I'm having fun with this. And every day I have fun with this, and that's what we do here. So this program, this particular one, is going to be aired in different times and in different markets. So if you're listening to this right now, you could be in Atlanta hearing this right now. So you'll probably get this. Well, actually, you won't even know when you get it because we're recording this ahead of time specifically for you. For Auburn, Alabama, for Lubbock, Texas, for Honolulu, Las Vegas, we're live. It's all over the place, different times, different everything. In hotels, we're going to be about a week delay because we have to go through post-production. But this is a load of fun, folks, and I hope you're having fun with this. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow as well. For the fun that you may be having listening to this, I have just as much fun doing it, but I speak the truth and I don't hold nothing back. All right, folks, we're going back right now. Here we go.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. You also on Instagram, you also on Facebook over there. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, our recorded shows, which are our podcast. Yet we do an FCC-regulated show, but we do have our recorded shows stored on the podcast platform, unlike the other 2 million podcasts that are sitting out there in the first place. So anyway, make sure you go to thesportscircus.com and check out our upcoming guests. We got a couple of really good guests coming up. Folks, one of them, I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one. We're working with, actually, we're going to have Stephanie Stuckey, who is the CEO of Stuckey's, the roadside restaurants and attractions and whatnot across the country. We're going to do a show on the Great American Road Trip. That one's coming up. Also, in the craziest of ways, you never know what's going to happen on the show. I ran into the original Tinkerbell. Yes, Tinkerbell, if you know what I mean. Yeah, from Disney. Hired by Disney, by the animators, the original one, 72 years ago. Imagine that, 72 years ago. And her name is Margaret Carey. A wonderful human. She's going to be on right after Thanksgiving. Just a really cool human. And we have different people from business and sports and music and whatnot. Check out the full roster at thesportscircus.com on the homepage. Also, make sure you go to the partners page. And of course, there you'll find some of our long-standing partners, like this one right here. Everybody on TV can see CSN Athletics. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. CSNCoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's CSNCoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. And also check out our partners over at Cali Strong, CALI-strong.com. And they furnish with lots of hats and t-shirts and hoodies and coats and skateboards and surfboards. They're in downtown San Diego, right across the street from Seaport Village, right there in the best possible spot. They have 11 stores. They start out with just one, and my buddy Jim, check him out, Cali-strong.com. Jim founded the company. He's got Jennifer working with him. Got to tell you, great apparel, great stuff, and I've got Cali Strong stuff everywhere here. So guess what, folks? Check him out, Cali-strong.com. We don't get paid for saying these things. We just do it because we can. All right, sticking with the NFL. Just because we can. How about the Eagles? Everyone says, oh, the Eagles, oh, they're playing great, whatever. So they continued beefing up and reportedly signed Ndamukong Suh to a 1-year deal. Which, look, this guy in a different era, he probably would have been a great player in the 1970s, 1960s. He's one of those kind of players. And I like him. I like what he brings to the table. But today's league, the Snowflake League, is not ready for him. Oh no, God forbid, a team would actually let this guy do what he does. So the Eagles are not messing around as it's reported by Pick Your Favorite News Outlet. We're going to stick with Yahoo Sports on this one. So just one day after signing defensive tackle Linval Joseph, they signed another beefy monster, and that's Ndamukong Suh, to a 1-year deal. Really, not even a 1-year deal. That's the reality. It's a how many game deal. Anyway, so he's 35 years of age. He seems to be a disaster of a human on the football field in today's standards. No, he actually was a warrior back in the earlier days, a good throwback player. But he's been in the NFL since being drafted number 2 overall 12 years ago. Played 4 teams. He played with, of course, the Lions. He spent 5 years with them. Can't believe the Lions would even let that guy go. I think it was a little controversy, whatever. Also, played 3 years with the Dolphins. Played with the South Central Sheep, but you can call them the LA Rams. And, of course, played with the Buccaneers for a few years. And, of course, in 2021, he had 27 tackles, 6 sacks, 13 quarterback hits in 17 games. So, Suh waited quite a while before signing with the team this season, but that was apparently by design. According to the NFL at NFL.com, he always intended to sign with a team, but decided to take his time when driving up the interest in his services and see which teams would rise to the top. At 35, let's face it, you don't want to play every damn game of the season. You basically want to play a few tune-up games and then go right to the playoffs. Why not? I mean, let's face it, it's business, and it's a business decision, and not for the love of the game at that point, in my opinion. Look, that tells us everything we need to know about today's climate in football. So let's get back to the Eagles. Look, yeah, they're 8-1. You got a pretty good quarterback and offense with Hurts and A.J. Brown and Miles Sanders, and Dallas Goedert, who's now on the injured reserve list. Of course, I know I have him on my fantasy football team, but their defense is pretty good, but it's sort of going to be a chemical disaster. Now, you're just going to keep adding players in, and you can't do that. Now, the Raiders have tried this for years and years and years, and we see the Raiders get off to a great start, they add people, and then they fizzle. Well, this year, actually, they've got off to a bad start. It's only getting worse, if you know what I mean. So some of those guys are injured, as I said, or limited right now, including rookie Jordan Davis, who was a shining star before a high ankle sprain. Remember, we talked about that football surface stuff, right? We talk about that bad surface. Get rid of the artificial turf. Let them play on grass. Anyway, lots of injuries around the league. And of course, after having repeated issues in short yard situations against the Washington Commanders in a 32-21 embarrassing loss that ended the Eagles' undefeated streak, Philly obviously decided to bulk up by adding 2 more very large dudes to its defense. So be it. The problem is when a team tries to plug and play, they tend to create chemistry problems. First of all, those players have to learn a new system, right? There's a problem, which takes essentially a season, as per account from all of my friends that have played in the National Football League and that currently play in the National Football League. This is the story that I hear, whether it's with the Colts, the Titans, etc., etc. People I know are currently playing, and I hear the same damn thing from these guys. Also, they have new coaches. And of course, their coaches have ways of doing things, and the players have their ways of doing things. So a little bit of problem there. And then there's the media and the expectations. And of course, Philadelphia, they say the city of brotherly love. Brotherly love, my ass. It seems like everybody is angry there. The media is angry. Everybody's pissed off in Philadelphia. It seems that way anyway. And the media isn't going to do this guy any favors. They certainly don't do losing teams any favors. Remember, the city of Philadelphia has lost more professional sporting games, than any other city in America. Gotta tell you, I absolutely love that. So, will it work for the Eagles? Who the hell knows? What we do know is that they're all in on their overinflated record for a team that's just above average in the NFL. Why do I say that? Are you sitting down? You better lie down. Because here are the cold, hard facts on the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, fly, whatever. Listen, they're not that good. They're 15th in the league in passing. 15th in the league. They're 14th in the league in rushing. They're 15th in the league in receiving. Shall I continue? Magic 8 Ball says signs point to yes. They're 16th in the league in plays, total plays. They're middle of the pack, bro. They're 15th in the league in pass defense. Maybe they should have did something there. Well, maybe the run defense, because they're 17th in the league in rushing defense. They're 23rd in the league in yards per carry against. Oh yeah, the other teams are running the ball against them. So maybe they add a couple of big bodies. We're going to try to clog it up. Well, guess what? The secondary is still very mediocre at best. So now what do? Fine. They stack the line, no problem. They drop in a single coverage, and guess what? Now you got guys that are open because it's easier to act than react. Those receivers are going to get open. Oh yeah, and that's what's going to happen. Oh, by the way, the Eagles are 13th in the league in rushing touchdowns against. And my favorite stat, because the defense is so terrifying, as they've been described by Pick Your Favorite Source, they're 28th in the league in sacks. Okay, so you want to tell me about how terrifying that defense is again? Really? The Eagles are likely going to lose in a divisional playoff game, in my opinion. They're certainly not good enough to make the conference championship game, let alone the Super Bowl. And they're dreaming in Philadelphia if they think they have a real contender there. The reality is, they've had one decent win over a suspect Minnesota team, and that was where? At home. Now, you saw Minnesota recently beat Buffalo in the fixed, in my opinion, the fixed of fixed games. As Buffalo's running the clock out conveniently, they fumble the ball in their own end zone. Minnesota recovers the ball in Buffalo's end zone conveniently to put the ball in, or the game into overtime. What kind of BS is that? You know what that is? That's all about Vegas and...
Show me the money!
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I would, like Terrell says, I want the Bears to play him. You and me both, buddy. I want to see what the Bears can do against them. So it'd be running quarterback against running quarterback. Something tells me the Bears actually might win a game, if you know what I mean. the over and under on them. And I gave this away as Sal the Bookmaker on Place Your Bet. I gave away the Bears under 6.5 on the total wins per season. And somebody we had on the show, oh, the Bears are going to win, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to win. Crap. And guess what? The Bears are on record, on pace right now to lose, I think, 13 games. Because right now they've won 3. And I said that they would win 4 games on accident this year. Well, guess what? So far they've won 3. And that under is looking really good. I even had told all the people that I know that subscribe to placeyourbet.vegas. Check it out, placeyourbet.vegas. Only takes 1 bet. So in this particular case, I told everybody, as a information service, of course, bet the farm, everything you own, that the Bears will not get 7 wins. Well, guess what? That seems like one of the safest bets in the world at this point. But who knew back then? I knew! That's who knew. Back to the Eagles. So they've had 1 decent win over Minnesota at home. The others, I don't know, against mediocre teams at best. Who have they beaten, really? They have a pretty soft schedule remaining to, except for the fact they do have to play a very good Tennessee team, but it's in Philadelphia. And then they'll play a very questionable Green Bay team, which is in the toilet right now. And I got to tell you, I absolutely love the fact that Green Bay is in the toilet. They and the Bears should go bowling together. Nonetheless, sorry folks, the Eagles are horribly overrated and are in the middle of the pack in just about every damn category. Overall, they are a middle-of-the-road team. The class of the NFC lies in San Francisco, and yes, despite the record, Tampa Bay. You still got to knock off the greatest quarterback. And in the AFC, it's Kansas City, it's Buffalo, it's Baltimore, and Miami. By the way, that's the same Miami team who dismantled the Eagles just before the start of the season, 48-10, just in case you're keeping score. So you want to tell me again how good those Eagles are? All you Philly fans, and yes, my friends that have played for Philadelphia previously, I'm sorry. I know, Leonard, you may be watching. Vince, you may be watching. I'm sorry, guys, but I can't see Philadelphia as being a bona fide Super Bowl contender. I think they're more on the pretender side. All right, folks, that's going to do it for the Circus today. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, and we'll see you next time right here on your favorite station. So until then, so long, everyone.
Excellent.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.